Today's class is going to be centered around postures that will provide low back relief. So just keep in mind as we're practicing today, nothing should ever feel like compression or pinching or really anything that feels uncomfortable. So if anything that I offer today doesn't feel right in your body, by all means modify, get out of it, find what feels good. We are going to start today laying on our backs. So let's find a comfortable resting position. If you want to stay seated, feel free to do so. I'll be guiding our intro meditation laying down, but find what feels good. You can rest with the limbs out by the sides, legs resting down. If it feels better to have the knees bent or any other posture, again, find what feels good for you. And let's take the next couple of moments to truly let ourselves to arrive here and now for our practice this afternoon. Take a couple of moments and tune into the support of the ground beneath your body. So allow the head to relax down towards the ground. Soften the shoulders, the back body, and the arms. Let the hips soften and the lower legs. Allow your weight to sink heavily towards the ground beneath you. Just letting go of any holding within the body. Let your body become heavy as the ground holds you. And as we rest here, begin to tune into the weightlessness, the lightness and ease of your breath. Begin to feel every inhale and exhale within the nostrils. Notice what it feels like today. Can you truly feel the full extent of every breath in and out within the nose? Just let yourself be with that sensation for a couple of moments, letting everything else from this week and today just dissolve to the background of your mind. Follow your breath inwards and now gently place your awareness on the chest. Can you feel the chest physically rise and fall with every inhale and exhale? Fill the chest with breath when you breathe in and allow the chest to fully relax as you exhale. Can allow the mind to simply be cradled or held by the breath, letting any other internal or external distractions fade away. Eventually lower your awareness one more time, this time placing your mind's eye either on the rib cage or the belly. On the inhales, can you feel the rib cage expand and lift as the belly presses outwards? On the exhales, the belly relaxes as the rib cage softens. So again, take a couple of moments to simply feel, to be with the breath in this region of your body. Let your mind just melt into the inhales and exhales as you just let yourself feel the breath arrive and exit your body. Take a couple moments, just be with the breath here. And for your next couple of rounds of breath, feel free to focus on any of those areas we just went through, or anywhere else that feels good for you within the cycle of the breath. Find somewhere to anchor your mind so you stay here and now and notice when you travel away. Maybe you take a moment or two to set an intention for your practice today. Maybe coming up with a why or a dedication for the time that you're taking today. And once you feel ready to begin to move the body, on an inhale, reach your hands up overhead, stretch the body tall as you pull the feet towards the front of the room, nice, long, full body stretch. On an exhale, gently hug the knees in towards your chest as you wrap your arms around the legs, coming into Apanasana, knees to chest pose. Maybe you take a couple moments once you get here to gently rock side to side. And just notice how your body's feeling. Take a moment, check into the neck and the shoulders. Breathe and notice how the hips and the lower body feels. Just become aware there's no good or bad, right or wrong. We're just noticing. And from here, we're going to gently make our way into a twist. So on your next exhale, straighten your left leg to the ground. Keep the right knee hugging in towards you. Big inhale from here, and on your next exhale, right knee drops across your body, coming to the left-hand side. Arms come out like a T shape. Twisting here, you can place the left hand on the outside of the right knee if that feels good for you. If it feels like too much in the body, lift your knee up a bit. It's okay if the leg just hangs in space. Find where this works for you. Maybe you send the gaze over the right hand. Wherever you are, take a check in with the shoulders and the arms. So the right shoulder blade should be in contact with the ground beneath you. Right arm presses down. If you notice that you're lifting up, just again, come out of the twist a bit. Meet yourself where your body is at today. Take a couple big breaths and breathe to the right hand side. So physically feel that right rib cage expand and lift on the inhales. On the exhales, feel it lower and relax. So try to connect with the physical feeling in the body. Cultivate that mind-body connection here. Let's take one more full round of breath. On your next inhale, gently bring that right knee back up to center, hug it in. And we're going to keep that right knee hugging in for a moment, but on your next exhale, step the left foot on the ground. So the left knee is going to be bent, left foot on the ground, right foot still in the air. We're going to transition to half happy baby pose. So on your next inhale, lift that right foot up and grab a hold of your right ankle, the back of your right thigh, or the outside of your right foot. So find where this works in your body. This is a bit of a hip stretch here, so notice where it feels okay and just pause. If all of that feels good right now is hugging the knee in towards you, then you're just going to stay right there. Couple big breaths here as well. As you're here, try to press the low back down into the mat, resisting any lift of the low back. Gently pull the belly button in towards the spine to help support the low back. If you want to take this one step further, you're feeling open today, then maybe you straighten the left foot out towards the ground, straightening the leg, and then press that left heel forward, curl the toes in towards the shin. Let's take about 2 more big breaths here. Give your shoulders a little shake, relax the jaw. Big, big breaths. Stay with what you're feeling here. Let's take 1 more big breath. If your left leg is extended, gently step it in. Foot places flat on the ground, and on your exhale, eventually step the right foot down to meet it. Take a moment, maybe you close your eyes, and just observe how your hips, the low back feels on both of the sides of the body. Take a big breath or 2, just notice, become aware, feel. And then we'll transition to the other side. So right leg extends out, inhale, left leg hugs in, take a breath or 2 here, and we'll move to the twist. So whenever your next exhale arises, left knee now comes to the right side of your mat, and then the arms extend out like a T shape. Maybe you place the right hand on the outside of that left leg, And maybe you look over the left hand, stretching out the neck a bit. Again, find what works in your body today. Maybe the leg just kind of hangs in space. Maybe you even place a pillow under that left knee. And just notice what you feel. Relax the jaw and breathe into the left side body. So can you tune in so much so that you feel the left rib cage expand and lift on the inhales? And on the exhales, you feel the rib cage soften and relax. Take a couple breaths. Notice what you feel on the left-hand side. Steady your mind on the sensation of the breath. One more full round of breath here. You're doing great. And whenever your next inhale arises, gently bring your knee back up to center, hug it in, and on the exhale, place the right foot down on the mat. So again, left foot stays lifted, right foot places down with a knee bent. Maybe this is enough for you. If you want to go a little bit further, we'll work towards half happy baby. So you begin to flex that left foot, lift it, and then maybe you pull gently down, bringing the knee towards the armpit. You can hold on to the outside of the thigh, the lower leg, or maybe wrap the hand around the outside of the left foot. So pause here, notice how you're feeling, find the version that works for you today. Press the low back to the mat by gently hugging the belly button in towards the spine. And if you want to take this one step further on this side, maybe you straighten that right leg out. Just notice your sides might be different, and that's totally fine. Meet your body where it's at today. If your leg is straight, the heel's pressing forward and the toes pull back towards you, flexing that right foot. Again, relax the shoulders as much as possible. Create space and softness around the ears. Relax the back of the neck and the jaw. Let's take 2 more big breaths here. Breathe into what you feel. Beautiful. 1 more big breath. If your right leg is extended on your next inhale, place that foot back on the ground, and on the exhale, left foot meets it, placing it down on the mat. Take a breath or 2. Maybe you close the eyes. Just observe any sensations that are coming up in your body. Let yourself just be with yourself. Take some big breaths. Soften the mind. Relax the jaw and the shoulders. And when you're ready, follow an inhale to gently hug the knees in towards you. Give yourself a big hug, Apanasana, knees to chest pose. And maybe yet again you rock side to side. This time maybe pressing the hips or the low back into the mat as you rock side to side, almost giving yourself a little low back massage here. And eventually we're going to change the directions of the rock. So rather than going side to side, we're going to begin to take little rocks up and down the length of the mat. Maybe give yourself a little massage of the full back as you rock. We will eventually meet up in seated, so play around with this. Find where it works in your body. If you just want to come right up, by all means, feel free to do so as well. So find what works for you today. We'll meet up with the legs extended out in front of us. We're going to work through a forward fold. Our goal here is to get into the low back. So we're going to break this down into stages and find what works in our bodies. So we're going to start on an inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Crown of the head reaches up towards the ceiling. Knees press down, toes pull back towards you. On an exhale, begin walking the hands forward, trying to keep the back as long as possible rather than curving and reaching. So pause at the point that feels like a good stretch for you. Now bring your mind into your body and notice where you feel the strongest sensation right now. Is the primary stretch on the backs of the legs, possibly the hamstrings, the calves, behind the ankles? All right, just check in, we're becoming aware. Or do you feel the primary stretch on the low back or the mid back? If your answer is that you're getting the strongest sensation on the backs of the legs, that's totally fine. That's what needs the most opening, but we're targeting the low back today. So if you're feeling that strong stretch on the legs more than the back, you're gonna bend the knees and instead, with the knees bent, inhale and then reach your heart forward. So that's going to instantly, hopefully in your body, bring the stretch to the low back rather than working the backs of the legs, all right? So play around in your body, find where this works for you. It may be a significant bend in the knees. You might just kind of work on leaning forward, maybe spreading the knees out towards the side a bit. Observe your body, so really bring the mind to the body. Notice where you feel the stretch. Play around with where you place the feet and how deep of a bend you get. When you feel like that nice ooey gooey stretch in the low back, that's where we're gonna pause. So take a moment, find your stretch. And now let's take a couple big breaths. So imagine sending your inhales to the low back, breathing in space. Exhales travel up the spine and out the nostrils, releasing any tension or stagnant energy. Keep those shoulders as soft as you can, relax the gaze, and take a couple more big breaths like this, truly breathing into the low back. Find that nice release. Let's take 2 more full rounds of breath. You're doing a great job. 1 more big breath. Alrighty, on your next inhale, make your way back up to seated. On the exhale, child's pose. So swing those legs back around behind you. Make your way to hands and knees. And before you sink on back, take a look at your knees. Can you bring them together to touch or bring them close to touching, like sandwiching the thighs together? Toes can uncurl behind you. And then on an exhale, sink those hips on back with those knees pretty close together, if not touching. Head can just hang in the air. It can rest down on the mat, whatever feels good. The reason we're bringing our knees close together is that it creates an opening in the low back. When the knees are wide, we kind of work more into the hips and a back bend, but when we rest our bodies over our thighs, we create a little bit of an arc and opening in the low back. So again, inhale, maybe you can feel the back body expand as you breathe in. Maybe you pause with the inhales, and then exhales, let it go. Stay with what you feel in the back body. Breathe space in, and again, exhale, softness. 2 more full rounds of breath. Massaging yourself from the inside out with the lungs and the breath. Whenever your next inhale arises, come on back up, hands and knees, tabletop position. Once you get there, make sure wrists are directly under shoulders and the knees are hips distant, so spread them out just a tad. As you're here, press the ground away through the hands. So you're going to feel a lift in the shoulders and then press the knees into the ground. Should feel a little lift in the core. Low belly pulls in towards the spine. On your next inhale, can you lift the right knee up off the ground so it's parallel with the hip point? Outer right hip drops down towards the mat. Exhale, lower that leg just to a hover. Let's do 2 more. So inhale up, squeeze the glute at the top. Exhale, lower to a hover. Once more, then we'll hold. Inhale up, squeeze the right glute. Exhale, lower to a hover. All right, we're going to lift up and hold for 5 breaths now. So inhale, lift that right knee up, pause, 5 big breaths. Again, try to drop that outer right hip towards the ground so we're not kind of lifting up towards the side. Keep pressing through those hands. Low belly pulls in towards the spine. 1 more big breath. Exhale, lower the knee down. We're going to go straight to the other side. So when you're ready on your next inhale, left knee lifts up. Exhale, lower to a hover. Keep that low belly pulling in. Inhale, lift up, press through the hands. Exhale, lower. 1 more than we hold. Inhale, lift up, squeeze the left glute at the top. Exhale, hover. All right, let's hold it. Inhale, lift it on up. Pause. 5 big breaths. Keep pressing the hands into the ground. Notice when I do so, my chest lifts. Low belly pulls in to protect the low back. Keep squeezing that left glute. Outer left hip drops towards the mat. 1 more big breath. You got it. Exhale, set it down. Let's make our way back to that child's pose. So again, knees close or slightly open. Find what feels good in your body. Rest your body down. Take a couple big breaths here. If you want to kind of rock the body side to side, feel free to do so. So when we work into the glutes and the core, we help support the low back. So we're working those big muscle groups around the low back to help it open up and also strengthen those surrounding areas. Breathe into the lower body, the pelvis, the glutes, the lower abdominal muscles. All right, on your next inhale, come on up, hands and knees, tabletop position, and then down dog. So curl the toes under, lift the knees up on an exhale, press it on back. And pause here, just be with your body. If you like to pedal out the feet, lift the hips, move the body forward and back, side to side. Just find what feels good. Observe the backs of the legs, how it feels to have the head below the hips. Take some big breaths here. Really press the ground away through the hands, the palms. couple more big breaths. Just move organically. Be with yourself. And whenever your next inhale arises, begin to tippy-toe or walk the feet up to the hands. If you need to bend the knees to get there, feel free to do so. Once you get to the top of the mat, step the feet hips distance apart and rise up halfway. On the exhale, fold down. On your next inhale, lift up a little bit higher. Hands can be on the shins or possibly even on the thighs. So we're going to find a low back release here as well. So just like we did in the seated forward fold, notice if you straighten your legs and fold down on an exhale where you feel the stretch primarily. So take a moment, observe your body. Where do you feel the strongest sensation right now? If it's in the backs of the legs, that is totally fine, but we're targeting low back today. So begin to bend the knees, keep bending them. Maybe you pull the heart forward slightly, and notice at what point you begin to feel the stretch shift from possibly the backs of the legs to maybe the low back. So find what feels good. Your choice if you want to dangle in the air or focus on pulling the heart forward. Again, explore your body. Pause in different shapes and variations to notice what feels good for you. I think for me, when I bend my knees to about this angle and drape my body forward, I start to feel that opening in the low back. So again, explore your body. Maybe you straighten the knees. Maybe you bend them significantly. Maybe you pull the heart forward. Take a couple moments, explore the body, and when you find the sensation shift to somewhere around the low back, pause there. We'll pause for about 3 to 5 breaths. You can do whatever you want with the arms, whether that's dangling them in the air, grasping them around each other. Just find what feels good. Connect the breath to the body, so breathe deeply to the low back. Again, inhaling space, exhaling release. If you are totally folded forward, really allow the back of the neck to soften, crown of the head pulls towards the ground beneath you. Let yourself hang heavy. About one more round of breath here. Awesome job. Whenever your next inhale arises, we'll rise up halfway, pull the heart forward. On the exhale, hands come down to the ground, step the feet back, and then drop your knees back down to a tabletop position. Take a breath or two here, just let your head kind of recalibrate. We were hanging upside down for a little bit there. And we're going to move through a couple rounds of cat-cow. However, we're going to add a little twist here. So if you want to look at me real quick, usually with cat-cow, we originate or start the movement from the shoulders or the middle of the body. However, today we're going to focus on starting with the pelvis. So we're going to start slowly together, maybe speed it up if you want to, maybe not. So when your next inhale arises, can you tilt your pelvis down, or in other words, tailbone points up towards the ceiling? So if you're watching me, you'll see instantly my tailbone lifted. So that's the first step. Then we're going to allow the spine to ripple. The last thing that will happen will be your gaze will go up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, point the tailbone down to the mat. Spine will follow. Last thing that happens is that your gaze will be looking towards your legs. Let's try that again. So inhale, tailbone points up. Let the rest of the spine ripple forward. Then you look up. Exhale, tailbone points down. Allow the rest of the spine to follow. Let's do one more together. Inhale, tailbone points up. Slowly allow the rest of the spine to ripple forward. Exhale, then you round from the spine at the bottom, making your way towards looking at the knees. Do about 2 more rounds on your own. Move at your own pace. It can be slower or faster than I'm cueing it. Find what feels good in your body and really use this time to explore how this feels for you, generating the movement from the pelvis or the low back rather than the top of the body. Take about 1 more round or so. Feel into the body and the pelvic area. And whenever you feel like you've had enough rounds of that version of cat-cow, we will meet again in that child's pose. So your choice, big toes touch, knees can spread wide, or if you really did like bringing those knees close together, you can sink the hips back towards the heels with the knees close together. Again, take your time. If those cat-cows feel good, feel free to continue to move. We'll eventually meet up in child's pose. And then, again, take a couple moments to observe, notice how you feel. Bring your mind's eye or your awareness to your low back and simply just notice how it feels right now. Breathe deeply. Notice where your mind is at. If it's anywhere off this mat, out of this room, reel yourself back in simply by feeling the inhales and exhales in your body. Full breaths. And whenever your next inhale arises, gently walk the hands back towards you until you're sitting up all the way on the heels. On the exhale, swing your legs out and around in front of you. We're going to lay down on our backs next. So inch yourself forward if you need space. On an inhale, hands will reach out in front of you. And then on the exhale, slowly lower yourself down one vertebra at a time. Take your time. Use the core to slowly lower yourself all the way down. Once you get down to laying on the mat, hands will come by your sides, palms face down, and then step your feet in towards your booty. Feet will be about hips distance apart. And on your next inhale, lift the chest up off the ground, inch the shoulders down the back body, and then exhale, set the shoulders back down. We're going to be doing some work in bridge pose, strengthening the glutes and the back body. Let's start by a couple bridge dips. So whenever your next inhale arises, press through the feet, lift the hips up off the ground, chin lifts up off the chest as the chest presses towards the chin. Exhale, lower the hips just to a hover rather than setting them down. Let's do 2 more rounds. Inhale, lift on up, squeeze the glutes at the top, knees squeeze towards each other. Exhale, lower to a hover. 1 more time. Inhale, lift on up. Imagine like you're squeezing a block between your thighs. Exhale, lower. Before you sit down, we're going to lift up 1 more time and hold. So when you're ready, inhale, lift on up. Pause. We'll hold for about 5 big breaths. Really squeeze the glutes. Knees energized towards each other. Press through the heels. Again, chest presses towards the chin as the chin lifts up off the chest. Look directly above you. 2 more big breaths. Press the back of the head down towards the ground beneath you. Can you lift up any higher? And then exhale. This time we'll set down. Great job. So slowly, slowly, slowly come on down. Set those hips down. Maybe you give yourself just a slight wiggle of the knees side to side if that feels good for you. Relax the jaw, soften the face and shoulders. We're going to do 1 more bridge pose with an option to go slightly deeper. So when you're ready to move back into bridge pose, bring those knees back to center. And on your next inhale, press the feet down, lift the hips up off the mat. Pause once you're lifted. Again, we'll be here for about 5 big breaths. If you want to go a little bit further, you'll clasp the hands under the low back, interlacing the fingers. Maybe you'll shrug the shoulders onto the back body slightly, and then create a bit of a deeper back bend. Couple more big breaths. Keep squeezing the glutes, lifting those hips up. Let's take 1 more full round of breath. You got it. All right, when your exhale arises, if your hands are bound, gently release them. And again, 1 vertebra at a time, slowly lower yourself on down till those hips come down. Take a moment or 2 if you want to gently give yourself just a slight wiggle side to side with the knees and windshield wiper-like motions. Feel free to do so. We'll eventually meet up by stepping the feet much wider than hips distance and allowing the knees to fall in towards each other and rest against each other. It's okay if the knees don't touch. We're just going for, again, a low back release. So find what feels good for you here. Just allow those knees to kind of fall in and rest against each other. Maybe you draw the eyes closed, and again, take a couple moments. Notice where your mind is at right now. Again, whether there's internal or external distractions, allow those to be your guide back to your breath. Feel the inhales and exhales in the body, whether that's in the nostrils, the chest, or the belly. And we're going to do 1 more low back exercise in this shape that we're in. So when you're ready, on your next inhale, bring your feet back into hips distance, the heels step in towards the bottom. And then you're gonna place your hands on your thighs. So the heel, the bottom of your hand, is gonna be essentially the crease where your thigh meets the torso. So hands will press into the thighs. So let's start. We're going to start by energizing. You're going to press your hands, so straighten your arms and press your hands in towards the thighs. So this is step one. If you feel a little release here and it's enough for you, you're going to stay right here. Now, if you want to create a little bit of what's known as back traction, you're going to pull the belly button in towards the spine and then imagine sucking the belly button up towards you. So the belly button presses down and then sucks up. As you press the arms in towards the thighs, you should feel a decent low back release here. So as you're here, breathe. Again, low belly is sucking in and up. Let's take about 2 more big breaths here. 1 more big breath. On the exhale, release, allow your arms to relax. So we're going to try that 1 more time. If that was enough for you, by all means, just rest for the next round. If you want to give it a go 1 more time, let's try it again. So again, hands come to the upper thighs, heels of the hands kind of press in towards that crease. So straighten the arms, press the hands into the thighs, and when you're ready, pull the low belly button in towards the spine, and then try to suck it up towards the head. So pause here for a couple moments. Again, belly button sucking in and up. Should feel a decent amount of relief in the low back as you do this. Couple more big breaths. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Keep pulling that belly button in and up. 2 more rounds of breath. Good job. 1 more big breath. When you're ready to come on out, on an exhale, release. Allow the arms to come by the sides. And again, your choice. Legs can sway side to side, or you can step them out and allow them to rest against each other. Just find a position that feels good to rest for a couple moments after that posture. Stay with feeling the body. So either draw your awareness to the low back region of the body, or just feel the inhales and exhales. Steady the mind. Allow your awareness to stay in the present moment through finding a feeling activity. And once you feel like the low back has settled a bit, you can gently transition to hugging the knees in towards the chest. So just like we did at the beginning of class, making a ball shape with your body, wrapping the arms around the legs. And again, maybe you add that gentle rock side to side. As you do so, really try to press the hips and the low back into the mat this time. So give yourself that gentle low back massage as you rock side to side. Maybe you even allow the ears to fall side to side, releasing the neck a little bit. Take some full rounds of breath here. Doing an awesome job. Eventually, slow down your rocks, making your way back to center without any motion. And we're going to introduce yet again that twist that we found at the beginning of class. So when you're ready, straighten your left leg down to the mat. Keep the right knee hugging in towards you. Take a breath or 2 here. And once you feel ready to twist, follow an exhale to drop the right knee across the body. Again, arms can come to a T shape. Left hand can rest on the outside of the right leg. Maybe you even look over the right hand. If you want to go a little bit further, maybe this time you begin to lift that left foot, so right foot, and straighten the right leg. That'll add a little bit of an IT band stretch to the outside of that right leg. But again, just find what feels okay in your body right now. Maybe you begin to close the eyes, relax the jaw, and yet again, take some big breaths towards the right side body. So anchor your mind in the feeling of the inhales and exhales along the right side. Feel your body breathe here. One more big round of breath. On your next inhale, gently bring that right knee back up to center. And when your exhale arises, straighten that leg down to the ground. We'll do the same twist on the other side. So inhale, left knee hugs in. Pause here for a moment or 2. Stay with the breath. Whenever you're ready to twist, follow an exhale to drop that left knee across the body toward the right hand side. Again, arms can come to a T shape. Maybe you rest the right hand on the outside of the left leg and possibly look over the left hand. Breathing deeply, and again, your choice if you want to play around with straightening that left leg, working into an outer hip IT band stretch as well. Again, find what works in your body here. Your choice if you'd like to draw the eyes closed. However, no matter where you are, feel the breath in the body. Feel the left rib cage expand on the inhales, and on the exhale, soften. And for the next couple of rounds of breath, let yourself just feel the inhales and exhales in the body. And take about one more big round of breath. And whenever you're ready, follow an inhale to gently bring the knee back up to center. And eventually exhaling, straightening the leg down to the ground. When your next inhale arises, full body stretch one more time. So reach the hands behind you, feet pulled towards the front of the room. And then exhale, relax, hands come by the sides, palms face up, and allow the legs to soften. Your choice. If you're ready for Shavasana, you're going to stay right where you're at. If you feel like you need any other stretches or postures, you need to get up and move around, please feel free to listen to your body. Give yourself what you need right now. Take a couple moments for yourself. When you are ready for Shavasana, we'll all meet up, resting on our back bodies in a shape that feels good for you. If you are still flowing, please take your time and only rest when it feels good for you. If you found your way to your final resting pose, Shavasana, gently draw your eyes closed when you're ready and begin to invite in a soft and easy, relaxed state to your mind, to your body, to the space all around and within you. Begin to soften your body even further, starting by relaxing the crown of the head. Soften your forehead, relax the eyebrows, allow the eyes to sink back towards the skull. Soften your temples and the cheekbones. Relax the jaw. Soften your lips and teeth as you relax the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Soften your ears, the back of the head, and the scalp. Allow the shoulders to melt towards the ground beneath you as the neck softens and relaxes. Relax your upper arms and the elbows. Soften the lower arms and the wrists. Relax the hands, allowing the fingertips to naturally curl inwards. Soften your upper back. Allow the middle back to soften. And allow the low back to melt towards the ground beneath you. Relax your chest, the rib cage, and the belly. Allow your hips to soften, along with the glutes and the pelvic region. Relax the upper legs and the knees. Soften the lower legs and the ankles. And relax the feet, allowing them to splay outwards toward gravity's pull as every toe gets a little bit lighter. Notice if you're holding on anywhere else in your body, and simply let go. Allow this inner state of relaxation and ease to translate to your mind, softening the mind as though it's a muscle itself, relaxing it and letting it melt away. For the next couple of moments, just let yourself be in this state. Allow yourself to simply let go and drift away into this peaceful being and energy within and around you. Gently begin to invite the awareness back in towards your body. Maybe you begin to introduce small wiggles to your toes, to your fingers, to the wrists and ankles. And only when you feel ready, gently roll over to either side and pause there to rest in a fetal position. Take your time. Again, once you feel ready, gently press yourself all the way back up to seated, keeping the eyes softly closed as you move. And we'll meet up in a comfortable seat with the eyes closed and palms touching at heart center. Again, take all the time you need. Once you arrive in your seated posture, take a couple moments to consciously observe how you feel right now. Bring your awareness to your mind. Notice how it feels. What word describes the state of your mind right now? Bring your awareness to your body. Maybe you check in with the low back region. What word describes the state of your body right now? Eventually, tune into your emotional well-being. What emotion do you feel right in this moment? Just observe, notice, let it be. Eventually give yourself a big old smile and really thank yourself for showing up here today and for dedicating your time to your practice, your health, and your life. And thank you very much for sharing your beautiful energy and practice with me and everybody else who showed up here today. The light in me truly honors the light in you. Namaste.